Hey everyone, I wanted to take some time today to talk about something that's been on my mind lately. If you've been following the development of Rise of the Intern, you might have noticed things have slowed down. Today, I want to be transparent about why I've decided to step away from this project, what I've been experiencing, and where I'm headed next. When I first conceptualized Rise of the Intern, I was genuinely excited about creating a Survivors-style RPG with that corporate satire twist. The idea of battling through office politics with over-the-top abilities and climbing the corporate ladder seemed fresh and fun. I spent countless hours designing the systems, plotting out the character progression, and mapping the satirical corporate world. But somewhere along the way, my passion for the Survivors gameplay style began to wane. What initially felt innovative started feeling formulaic to me. I found myself designing mechanics I wasn't actually excited to play, and that's always a warning sign as a developer. The truth is, game development should be driven by passion. When you're an indie developer, you're pouring your heart and your soul into something that might take years to complete. And if your heart's fully not in it, then you kind of realize that you're creating something that's more marketable rather than something that you're genuinely passionate about. And that's kind of how I felt. This realization coincided with a broader awakening about how I've been managing my time and energy. For those who don't know, game development isn't my only pursuit. During the day, I run a freelance business that demands a significant portion of my creative energy and professional focus. When evening rolls around, I've been switching gears to stream game development, often going late into the night. What began as an exciting way to share my creative process has slowly transformed into an obligation that I was fulfilling at the expense of my well-being. The schedule I set for myself left virtually no time for rest, reflection, or even basic self-care. I was living in this perpetual cycle of work, stream, sleep, repeat, over and over. The freelance work alone can be demanding and unpredictable, and adding consistent streaming on top of that meant I was essentially working two jobs with no real downtime. Something had to give, and unfortunately, it was my health, both physical and mental. Consistency is praised in the content creation world, and for good reason. Showing up regularly builds community and trust, but there's a darker side to this pursuit of consistency that isn't really talked about enough. In trying to maintain my streaming schedule alongside my freelance obligations, I found myself skipping meals, eating too much, sacrificing sleep, ignoring exercise, and not really focusing on my relationships. My desk became my prison, and creation, something that should bring joy, became another checkbox on an endless to-do list. The irony isn't lost on me that while creating a game satirizing toxic workplace culture, I was establishing my own unhealthy work patterns. I was becoming the overworked character in my own game before I even created it. The physical toll was evident: constant fatigue, eye strain, general discomfort, weight gain. You know, the things that happen from sitting at a desk for 12 plus hours a day. But the mental toll was perhaps more insidious. The creeping anxiety about missing a stream, the guilt about taking a night off, the growing feeling of being disconnected from things that bring me joy outside of work and game development. I think we all have this idea that we'll recognize burnout when it happens, that it's this dramatic moment where we suddenly can't function, but that wasn't my experience. My burnout crept in slowly, disguised as a series of off days that stretched into weeks, sometimes even a month. What once energized me began to drain me. My creative, which I once thought was bottomless, ran dry. Ideas that would have sparked excitement a year ago barely registered. I was going through the motions, but really kind of missing the meaning. Even my hobbies outside of game development, the things that I turned to for relief, started to feel like obligations. Everything became work, and none of it really felt rewarding. This brings me to today in this video. I'm making a conscious choice to step back, not to walk away entirely, but to redefine my relationship with game development, streaming, or content creation, and just work in general. I'm pausing development on Rise of the Intern, possibly indefinitely. Doesn't mean that I'm abandoning game development completely. It means I'm allowing myself some space to reconnect with what genuinely excites me as a creator. Most importantly, I'm prioritizing my well-being. That means regular meals, quality food, sufficient sleep, and physical activity, as well as going back to some reading, getting outdoors a little bit more. Really, it means allowing myself to enjoy other people's creations without constantly thinking about how I could be producing something of my own. To those of you who have been following the development of Rise of the Intern and my other game development, thank you for your support and enthusiasm. It hasn't gone without notice. Your engagement with the concepts, your feedback, and your presence during the streams has meant more to me than I can express. I know some of you might be disappointed, and I understand that, but I hope you'll understand that this decision comes from a place of honesty and self-awareness. I believe you deserve a creator who is present, engaged, and genuinely excited about what they're sharing with you, not someone who's running on fumes. I'm not disappearing, I'm recharging. And if I return to regular content creation, it'll be with renewed energy and the authentic passion for the projects I was working on as well. In the intermediate future, I'm taking time to reconnect with what drew me to game development in the first place. I'm playing games that inspire me, experimenting with smaller projects that spark joy. For instance, the memory game that I was working on that I started and abandoned just as fast as it started. Just things like that, allowing myself to create without the pressure of deadlines or deliverables, which is why I mostly stuck to game jams to begin with. When the time is right, I'll embark on a new project, one born from genuine excitement rather than obligation. And I hope you'll join me on that journey. Until then, take care of yourselves. Remember that your worth isn't tied to your productivity, which is what I'm learning. And know that sometimes the most creative decisions you can make is to step back and breathe. Thank you for listening, for understanding, and for being part of the community. I'll see you soon.